Welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Sidney Wood. Have you ever had to sort of redefine issues in your life, even redefine yourself? Or perhaps you've had to fast from some of the things that have happened in your past as you move into this new year and some of the new opportunities that are before you. Well, today we've got some help for you. An expert conference speaker, author, you know her. She's famous worldwide for delivering a prophetic word. And we welcome to Straight Talk today, Dr. Juanita Bynum.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is the show I've been waiting for. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me.
And happy birthday to you.
Well, thank you.
You celebrated, it's not often that we say a lady's age, but you've given us permission today to wish you a happy 50th birthday. And you had a big old bash. Tell us about that.
Yes, it was really an unbelievable bash. More so than that, we started out when they asked me about my birthday and how I wanted to celebrate, you know, turning 50. And I told them that I wanted to do a hairspray thing. And I just wanted some cake and balloons, and I wanted everybody to kind of dress like Hairspray, and because that's one of my favorite movies.
Sure.
And that's where we were going with it. And then one of my assistants said, I don't know, this is your 50th birthday. I think you need to do something a little bigger than that. And then my manager stepped in and said, no, we are going to do something bigger than that. I think that you really need to take a moment and celebrate. And over the course of the months, I began to just think about my life and what God has done in my life and how far I have come. And sitting in the point where I am truly able to say that I'm grateful. And it just began to evolve from there, and I just began to see this whole new woman come out.
Dr. Bynum, you call it a redefining of Dr. Juanita Bynum.
Yes.
What is that redefinition all about? What does that mean to you?
Well, first of all, I was doing a series over several months called Fasting the Past. And one of the segments in the series, I talked about how it is impossible to redefine anything until you first define it. And what I did was I went through every segment of my life, every phase, relationships, the whole 9 yards. I mean, family members, friends, everything.
How long did that take, that introspection and that sifting through your life?
About 18 months. And in the process of it, I had to define every relationship, and I had to define the relationship in terms of capacity. I told somebody the other day, and I even made it in my birthday speech, that there was really nothing to forgive in this sense, because we choose relationships by capacity. And if we don't have the knowledge of the capacity of the individual that we are engaging ourselves with and calling friend, then whatever the offense is, you take full responsibility for that. It's just like I have a girlfriend, and she's probably going to kill me when I call her name, but Karen Belton she is just the funniest person in the world to me. And when I want to have a good time and just laugh and just have one of those in the mall days where my heart just leaps, I call Karen. And I say, Karen, I need a Karen day. And when she comes, I don't expect for her to be a counselor. I don't push her in the capacity to, to nurture me or any of that. The capacity of Karen is to be a listener and a person that makes me laugh. And I think that when we begin to dissect our lives and relationships, and we begin to categorize people by their capacities, we won't take the turn of putting people in positions that they have no business in our lives. Because if you put something on a person that they don't have the capacity to handle, then you're going to be the person that's going to be greatly wounded by it, more so than them, So
when people take your advice, as I will, and begin to examine my life and redefine the relationships that have come thereby, what do you do when you find that there are some readjustments that need to be made? They say that people come for a reason, a season, or for a lifetime.
Right.
And I'm sure in that redefinition process, you begin to discover the significance of others' connection with you.
Right.
How do you disconnect or reconnect or readjust those vital links that have been placed improperly?
Well, there's a little saying that I have. I say, when you know that you have your head in the lion's mouth, you have to pull it out slowly. Get your head bit off. But in some relationships, you know, I think when you turn 50, I don't think you have the time left to nurture the process. And you just have to make that decision and just move on. And really helping the individual to know it's not personal. You know, it's not personal. My moving on is not personal. It's business, and it's the business of life. And I'm just so interested and more interested in the life of Juanita Bynum. And I think that I've gone my first 50 years being overly concerned about everybody around me and making sure that they had everything that they needed, that I forgot about me. And I think the next 50 years.
The next 50 years.
Oh, it's about me.
That's where I wanted to go next. The next 50 years. You've done a little bit of acting. You did something on Lincoln Heights, ABC.
Yes.
Does the next 50 years include a little bit of Hollywood, a little bit of entertainment and television, perhaps?
I think that the next 50 years includes a little bit of everything.
Let's talk about it. If
I
you
love
were
it.
to forecast it and share what you see on the horizon.
I think I see whatever, number one, the will of the Lord is for my life. But from a personal view, I think that I have just broadened my horizons to experience it all. And, you know, just, you know, all of that would be to my advantage, to the upbuilding of, you know, my character and my morale and what I stand for. But when I look at the definition and defining every aspect of it, my birthday celebration was a very, very serious thing for me, and it was a ceremony, and we did a ceremony, and I did a ceremony. As a matter of fact, the video is up for sale now on our website, JuanitaBynum.com. But I stood there and I had to say, and I'll give you a perfect example, I wore my wedding dress that I wore. Look at your face, Sidney. You going, okay. Are you a nut? I see that in your eye. No. I saw it all in your face. It's like I couldn't resist. Your eyes said,
I'm listening.
I wore my wedding dress, and, you know, I did that because in defining who you are and everything about you, it took them 9 months to make that dress. That dress, the fabric was hand spun from Paris. And the Swarovski crystals, every crystal on it was hand stitched by 5 ladies. It took them 9 months. I went to fittings every Monday for 9 months. Literally, I think I missed one Monday. And the dress was supposed to be the greatest moment of my life. And I bared no expense in putting that dress together. And it ended up being what most would call something that was very shameful for me, or something that was very hurtful for me. But I remember my father saying to me, never run from your fear, face it head on. And when I made the decision, I decided that I would not take away or depreciate the purpose of a thing. And I think that we desecrate ourselves when we do that. You know, when we look at something and we say, oh, you know, this is da da da, because I think that every challenge, every mistake, everything about your life, it's a tool and it's a learning instrument, and you can either look at it as a tragedy or a transition. And I made the decision in my redefinition to make the decision that the purpose of this dress was supposed to be the greatest moment of my life, and I will not deny the dress the opportunity to still be that.
When we come back, we will reconcile allowing the things that have been in our lives to yet be while we fast the past.
Absolutely.
And we're going to ask Juanita Bynum if she'd ever consider marrying again. When we come back, this is Straight Talk. You stay tuned. Log on to streamingfaith.com to experience Streaming Faith Gospel, the world's #1 destination for gospel music, videos, news, and events, showcasing gospel music's top artists and their latest releases, featuring the largest names in gospel, including Marvin Sapp, Martha Menezes, Kirk Franklin, Ty Tribbett, and many more. Streaming Faith Gospel on streamingfaith.com. Welcome back to Straight Talk. I'm Sidney Wood. Our guest, Dr. Juanita Bynum II.
The second.
We're going to get into why that is your new name.
Yes.
But first, you have a clip for us to take a look at. Set it up for us. What are we about to see?
I think you're about to see a little bit of the ceremony and me just making a declaration to myself and to women everywhere. My situation made me very relevant and made the ministry that God has given me very relevant. And I think that I can truly say now that I am every woman. I can really say that. And I think that there was a moment, and I think the whole thing was just a very impactful moment. But there was a segment during that ceremony when I lifted the sword and I began to talk about my pledge to protect the new name that God had given me.